Coaches, it's a pleasure to have a chance to share with you today, and I'm going to apologize on the top. We're having a little trouble with the Huddle video screen. Hopefully things will work out. Kind of like a lot of you, it's a lot different doing it on the laptop and doing it from somebody else's place rather than do it in an office. But I just want to have a chance to share with you today a little bit about some of the things we've done in our offense. And I've been blessed. I've been able to coach in the high school ranks in Nebraska. I've been in the NAI ranks in multiple places at Kansas Wesleyan, Bethany College. I've been at the Division II situation at Colorado Mesa, at University of Nebraska-Kearney, at Black Hills State University as head coach. I've been at the 1AA level at Southeast Missouri and at Baylor with Coach Staff back in the 80s. And so I've had the chance to be at a lot of different levels. And one of the things that I believe, fellows, is just like all of you, you got to find what you believe in and then find the players that fit it and or adjust your system to allow your players to have success. In our system, basically today, I'm going to talk primarily in this session here about our stretch play and our midline and how we kind of marry those two together, and the reason that it's important to understand what you're trying to accomplish. But our offense in general, we have been a standpoint of a no-huddle, up-tempo offense ever since I became an offensive coordinator back in I don't know, I guess it was about 1990, maybe 95, I guess, at Bethany College. And we were very heavy empty. We were one back. We were two back. We combined a lot of different things. And so I've been blessed to have great success in all the places we've been, and we've had some outstanding players. When we started talking about our offense in general, we were a standpoint that we wanted to be a no-huddle. We want to be an up-tempo team. We are a run-first offense, even though a lot of people believe we are a pass-happy type team. Part of that is because when we look at different things, we're looking in our offense, and I'll try and show you a little bit of both things here, of some run game where it's just strictly run called, and we're going to try to hammer and pound the football. We're going to have some run options where it's a quarterback read, whether it's off a backside defensive end, whether on the inside zone we're reading that in. We get some power read stuff that we run in our offense where it's a front side defensive end. So a variety of things that we're doing. And then that's kind of where we got into the midline of running and reading an interior player as well. But also then with the RPOs, we throw a lot of the things off the RPOs. Now, for us, the RPOs really tend to tie in against teams that we know we're going to see a whole lot more zone play. A lot of people get into some of the RPOs versus a lot of the man-free, and that's okay. And there's certain things we will still do, and if we can win the route, we're going to take it, and those are primarily going to be slants or even takeoff routes. But a lot of people, when they get into some of the quick combination routes in their RPO game, we would rather change it where that is part of our run action or our play action pass game. And I've got in a couple of those when we get into a second session here where we get into a little bit of man-free later on today. But for the most part, our RPOs, we really like to incorporate into the zone situation where we can kind of create the standpoint of putting that defender into a bind. If you're seeing a lot of man-free, then we want to get into where it's a run read. And that's kind of where we got into some of the stretch stuff, where we could run it and we could run stretch to one side. We could run midline inside. We could run the inside zone where we're reading the backside in. So that's kind of where we got into. So as you start looking at things, understand exactly what you're trying to accomplish. And the more you do, obviously, maybe the less effective you're going to be with it. So you've got to choose those things that you want to be really good at. For us, if you look at the last, I don't know, I'm going to say 15, 20 years, our situation has been one that we're going to lead with the inside zone. We're going to run the stretch, probably the second most play. We're going to run some standpoint of whether we're running some power read, and then also some of the tackle trap or the dart play. And then we'll run a little bit of draw and a little bit of speed option, and that's it. We'll go into games where we'll run basically nothing but inside zone and stretch and tie into the RPO and the play actions with it. So as we get going here, let's take a look here. We're going to start on our stretch play right away. What we try and do with our stretch play, as you can see here on the screen, again, I apologize. I've been trying to make it bigger, and it's just not going to come bigger. If we're running to a tight end, we want to get two pullers. And we got this here basically way back from Tom Moore when he was with the Minnesota Vikings and even with other teams when he was with the Indianapolis Colts. What we want to get to is we want to set an edge. And where we want to set that edge is the first edge that we can get outside the offensive guard. So on this left diagram here, you're seeing it's basically a version of a 3-3 or even kind of a 50 where that back can be walked up. We know that defensive end is an inside C-gap player. That's where our edge is going to start. When we get that, we want a down block, and then we want two pullers. As we get the two pullers, the first puller is thinking he's blocking force. The second puller is thinking that he's basically leading up, looking for the backer on up into the safety alley situation. All right, if we come to the diagram on the right, you see that we've got a 3 technique. When we got the 3 tech, that's actually where our stretch play starts. We want the down block by the tackle on the 3 tech. The tight end is going to be based up. And again, just for purposes of understanding, our general base rule for this tight end and offensive tackle is the tight end will block the defensive end. The tackle is basically, again, going to block the linebacker. All right, what happens here? You're seeing that on the left diagram. He's down here, tackles around on the first linebacker. Probably going to be that edge backer there, or in cases of a 3-3, there might even be another edge backer here, and the safety might be the stack guy. Here, the defensive end is head up on that tight end. Tight end still taking him. This is where we're going to get either a trade, switch. We've used multiple calls over the years. So now the tackle's going to block down, and now the guard has that linebacker play side. All right, so as we still get going, though that's the first combination of the puller we're going to get, is it's either going to be that play side tackle or it's going to be that play side guard based on where we have that shade. All right, what happens as far as the second puller? That second puller can be on the left. You see even a backside guard being that second puller. Now, what we tell that backside guard, he's primarily the guy that's aware of linebacker run-throughs. He's getting a linebacker run-through. He's got to block the run-through guy. Otherwise, he's going to lead up, find the first alley, and lead upfield. Don't worry about getting wide. Find the first opening and get upfield. On this second diagram, you're seeing it. It's, again, the backside guard. Now, the majority of the time, what we tell our center is if we know that guard can get that guy, then we want the center to be that second puller. We've done a lot where we have pulled our center on plays, and so now we can get 2 guys on a play side, basically the center and guard, center and tackle are our first 2 pullers. We'll even get situations where just like this one on the left, if the center believes he can get the nose guard, we're going to be pulling the tackle, and then we're pulling the guard. We want to get the first 2 pullers we can get being the guys that are going to attack that alley defender and then basically the alley backer and on up into the safety situation. So when we get to the tight end side, we're going to be getting a down block and we're getting 2 pullers. Now, one of the other things that's important when you're getting down blocks, those here, if I'm getting a down block here by this 3 tech, we like to get that center as the second puller because what we'll generally even tell this backside guard is I don't have to block this nose guard right here where he is. All I've got to be able to do is I can actually drop and I can keep pulling flat down here and run this nose guard into that 3 tech on the far side. And if you look at that in normal space, fellas, that's generally only a space of 5 to 6 feet. And so it's not that far that guy's got to just seal him off and just keep him from penetrating. You'll see some of the different schemes as we get going here into our video. Now, if we get going to an open end, in each case, we've been running that thing to this split inside and there's no tight end, then we just go full zone. So now our guys are going to be in a full reach. But once you understand that, that's going to be an idea of what we see in our stretch. Now, before I get into some of the stretch plays, very quickly, what's important to understand? Who are the major factors in stopping your stretch? You know, in most cases, you're accounting for the guy's play side. And a guy that's hard to get is that backside linebacker. When he's the guy that's hard to catch off that backside, that is why we went into the midline play, because now we can block him. We can read somebody else. We're going to read a down lineman. And now as we read the down lineman, we know we got that backside backer blocked, and everybody else is going to be blocking the same scheme. So let's start out. Let's take a look here at some of these stretch plays here. We'll get a chance to look at this stuff here. And again, like I said, I apologize because some of this here is just not going to be all the video that I'd like to have with it. Here we're in a 2-back set. Now, again, you're going to see us in a lot of different formations here. We are primarily an 11 personnel team. We're going to be in a lot of tight end sets. Here we've got tight end. We're going to be getting some 2-back stuff. And when we get in 2-back, we're truly 2 running backs. There's no real fullback for us. When we get it, we want a fullback type situation. It's going to be that tight end that is that guy that is going to be that player for us. All right. So we're starting tight ends coming across. We know that, again, when we motion into the boundary, we're going to have a standpoint of gaining numbers. Right now, the defense did not move a single defender. So as we start coming out here, what you're going to see is that tight end is going to be coming down. You see him on the down block right away. You see here, we're getting our two pullers with the guard and tackle coming out. We're getting the wide receiver come down on a crack on the alley safety, and then running back is going to secure that safety on up to the corner. If we're going to miss somebody, we prefer to miss the corner. Number one, because he's the guy that's generally farthest away from the play. Number two, corners are on the field primarily to cover. They're not there to make tackles. The more he's coming up to make a tackle here, the easier it is for us to get behind a safety than it is to get behind a corner. So it helps us in a lot of fashion when number two, where this corner is the guy that's trying to make tackles out here. So you see the down block, you see the two pullers, you see the wide receiver coming down on the safety. Running back should be secure in the safety. Hopefully we work up to the linebacker as this play starts to progress. On the backside, you see him working to cut off. Quarterback is still responsible for all things backside, making sure that somebody is on the backside, because we run a lot of slants off our RPO here, making sure they're holding at least a safety and or linebacker. In this case, you've got three guys currently that are held on the backside. And so we don't want to throw the football. We're not looking to throw RPOs into a window. We want to, it should never be tight. An RPO for us should be a gift route. They're giving it to us, and then we go from there. Here he goes. Running back's coming out. You see we got everything sealed. As he gets everything sealed here, he gets that alley, does a great job. Again, all right, and I've coached defense as well. One of the things we tell our guys, don't let a corner tackle you. He's not on the field to tackle you. He's on the field to cover guys. There's the down block. Here's our second down block. And again, you can see here, and I just need to go back because I didn't made a mistake here. It is going to be basically, again, I said on a wide, it was a tackle and guard. On this case here, you see the guard down blocking here. He's setting an edge here. So it's going to be the tackle and it's going to be the center that are going to be our two pullers. There's a threat inside here for run through. So we want this guard tackle securing that run through threat. Now, one of the things you'll see is sometimes teams will widen this linebacker out here for a lot of exchange for the inside zone, that when he's down, he's wrapped around here. When he gets wider here, a lot of cases, we'll have this guard, he just basically almost staying on. We'll have the tackle secure the B gap and then just revert back. So you'll see some of those as we get going in this video. Well, part of it is this guy a threat? Do we have to take care of an A and a B gap threat here? Yes, we do. Then take care of the A, B gap threat. Starting to open up here as running back starts coming out here on the play. He's in great shape. That's exactly what we want. Now, we want these two here, basically here, if they're working here and this here, and that guy's for him, and then we want the wide receiver to come up. We can go that, or we can just stay 2 for 2 until the wide receiver. You stay on the safety inside or out, and then let the running back read off that, because ideally I'd like to get number 2 blocked. Now, we don't get him blocked here, but again, he's the guy on the field. The corners are the guys that out of the 11 guys on there, I'm not saying they're bad tacklers, but they're generally the worst tackler of the 11. It's usually those 2 corners. So that's basically, again, one of the first plays there. And let's get in. I'm going to just try and move through these here fairly quickly so I can get into both some of the midline and into some of the RPO stuff. Here's another formation now. I want to show you a variety of formations. I want to show you a variety of different looks. There is no tight end now. So since the tight end is already outside and we're in a 10 personnel type set, all right, we can do this with 11 as well. And those are tight ends. We do a lot of different things. But basically here again, it's going to be a standpoint that now we're going to be blocking some full stretch stuff here as we get going. Okay, now we're going to block the alley. We're going to block basically man up here. We want the high safety to be the guy that come down the majority of times, because again, the more he's coming down, the more that opens up some of our power read, the more it opens up some of our stuff to the backside, and it certainly opens up our play action passing game. All right. Again, running back does a good job making the first guy miss. All right, now here we go. This is a similar formation here again. All right, so now as we're getting to the 4-1, now you see the quarterback again. We're in a standpoint here that we're in pistol. So now he's just going to reach and we're going to ride and come out here. One of the things I want to go through here, fellas, again, we have done a standpoint if we teach our running backs 1, 3, and 5 steps. All right, if we're offset, which we are primarily an offset team, and we're running an inside veer, basically again on the inside veer, he's 1 step and he's downhill. If we're running our inside zone, it's 3 steps, and then he's waterfalling downhill to the far hip of the offensive guard to draw those guys. On the stretch play, he's going 5 steps. He's running the waterfall downhill off the tight end's butt. And again, being alert to where that first edge is. Move him back, and now instead of going 5 steps, he's going 3 steps, and he's still going to waterfall right on down into that same area. And what you'll find out, guys, is when you do that, you walk through that just on the field, it puts him in the exact same spot because he's deeper. So the 2 extra steps, he's deeper. He was thing by being in pistol or being in the offset.
Coaches, Rick Stewart with All Access Coaching, where we're all about coaches helping coaches. Thanks for watching the video. And I've got to ask, please hit the subscribe and like button below. The like button really helps us with valuable data as to what videos to make and upload in the future to help you out. And the subscribe button will notify you when we upload new content to the channel. This channel is not specific to an offense or a defense. It's not even specific to Rick Stewart. I fly over the country filming college coaches and state championship coaches about their offenses, about their drills, about practices, about defense, about program building, team building, fundraising, and weight training. It's all about coaches helping coaches. So thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe and like below. And as always, better today, but never as good as tomorrow.